Brief introduction to construction management. As I mentioned, my name is Scott Gross. I'm the undergraduate program coordinator. I think we'll be sharing these PowerPoints with Perrysburg. So if you were interested to find out more about the program or reach out to me, you certainly can. I am a graduate from 1986 from BGSU. I actually graduated with an degree in architecture, but I worked in construction for about 30 years, mostly in commercial construction. Most of my time, companies that you may know, Mosier Construction out of Fremont and Rudolph Libby out of Walbridge. So both companies you should be kind of familiar with. And I always kind of like to point out that on campus here, I was the lead estimator on renovation of the Bowen Thompson Student Union. I was on the estimating team for the renovation of Epler Hall, and I was the lead estimator for East Hall. So I've even got a fair amount of experience from my commercial work right here locally on campus. So construction management at BGSU, it's a great choice. One of the defining factors of our program is that all of our faculty members have a lot of industry experience. Like I mentioned, I had about 30 years of experience in commercial construction before coming to teach here full time. A lot of the faculty members all have a fair amount of industry experience. So that really helps that we're able to bring in some of our expertise and experience to the classroom. We have a cooperative education program, which I'll get into in a little bit. And I always like to point out too that we have extracurricular wise, we have the Student Construction Management Association, or known as SCMA. And there's a lot of great benefits to that organization. We also, both formal and informal, there's a lot of advising and mentoring that goes on. Not only with faculty members, can you come and ask us questions about, companies or career options, but even amongst the students, freshmen and sophomores will a lot of times consult with juniors and seniors who kind of know the ropes and share that knowledge. And in our program, we've maintained over 200 students in the major here for quite a few years now. I always like to point out that our degree, sometimes there's misconceptions that we're teaching people here to enter into the trades, being a carpenter or mason, and we're not. Here's the main career paths that I see from students coming out of this program. Project managers, estimators, sometimes superintendents, schedulers, safety directors, quality control. Those are the kind of career paths that we're gearing you for. And from our industry, we have a number of different segments. Some students want to do residential work, a lot going to commercial construction. We've had an uptick in students going into heavy civil construction. And what that means is companies that do a lot of highway work. So when you're driving down 75 and you see Kokosing or E.S. Wagner doing bridge and roadway work, that falls into that category. Some students go to work for industrial. You may have heard of a company in Toledo called Industrial Power Systems, or IPS. They do a lot of work at refineries and heavy mechanical type industrial projects. Sometimes we have students that look at that. Environmental firms, and then especially can be kind of a catch-all, but one of the bigger things that might fall into that would be, we have a lot of students now looking at firms that do work for solar fields. So I put together this Excel spreadsheet a few years ago, just as kind of an illustration on where you might fit into your career path. And so across the top, I have the different industry segments, and then down the side, I have the different possible career paths that you might take. And you might be saying to yourself, gosh, I want to do residential and I want to be a project manager. And during your time here at BGSU, you might learn that I really enjoy heavy civil highway work and I really want to go into scheduling. So you may find where you fall on this board, it may change during your time here, and that seems to happen a lot. So students are always open-minded to career options and industry segments, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. I'm not going to go through all of the classes that we offer, but this is a sampling of some of our core classes. We'll start you out with document reading. I teach a couple of classes on estimating because that's primarily my background. Safety, scheduling, construction methods and practices, that's geared towards project management, surveying and mechanical and electrical. You're going to find that a lot of our classes are set up in such a way that we're preparing you for these management positions within construction. That's the ultimate goal, is to get you prepared to fit into an entry-level management position. And I like to think of construction management program here as being a three-legged stool. You've probably heard that expression in other times along the way, but it really is true in our case. The first leg being the coursework, the second leg being our cooperative education experience, that we require that you have 3 co-ops during your college career. Typically they fall in the summer, and so you're taking classes in fall and spring, and then in the summer you're working for a company and gaining experience. And that's a big part of our degree program. And then the extracurricular activities, our Student Construction Management Association. I'll give you a few examples of what SCMA does, but the biggest picture on SCMA is we connect freshmen through seniors through a variety of activities. And it's so important that when you come to school here, that as you're a freshman, you're not in the silo with the other freshmen, that you're meeting juniors and seniors and people that have been in your shoes a few years ago. And that's a huge component. To be able to have that networking with your fellow students is really a tremendous asset to our program. So beyond the classroom, I mentioned that you will be doing 3 cooperative education experiences. It is so helpful to your development here at BGSU that through this experience, you're getting great work experience in the summertime. You're going to be at job sites, you're going to be in the office, you're going to be learning from other estimators and project managers and superintendents, and you're building your resume. When you're done with your schooling here at BGSU, you have a really solid resume put together with a lot of good work experience, and that gives you a big leg up when you're job hunting. You may be wondering, well, how do I get a co-op? Well, we offer fall and spring job fairs. There's a lot of networking represented opportunities where you can meet with recruiters from companies to help you find jobs. Typically our fall job fair, we have 45 companies, both locally, regionally, and nationally that attend. And so we provide you a lot of great opportunities to find quality jobs for the summertime, and even full-time jobs when you're done. We typically will send teams to different estimating competitions. It's a lot of fun. I can round up 5 or 6 individuals and we can go to Chicago or Cincinnati or Columbus and compete against other universities. We have a reputation right now. We send a team down to University of Cincinnati, and we've taken first place twice down there in the last 2 years. So it's a lot of fun, and the students get a lot of experience out of it. We also like to do a lot of job site visits when we can. The OCA chapter in Toledo sponsors a contractor for a day, for an example, and we'll be able to go to a number of highway job sites throughout Toledo. There are other times where a company like Lathrop or Douglas Company will call me up and we'll set up a job tour on a Friday afternoon. So we try to get you out there as much as we can to see how things are being built firsthand. And we like to do community service. 2 of our bigger organizations that we partner with, our construction management program does a lot of work for Habitat for Humanity. We've helped work on 2 of the houses built here right in BGSU. And we do an ongoing amount of work for the cocoon shelter here in BG as well. That if we can send 2 or 3 students over to help with a small project, we absolutely do that. So that's a big part of our character as well. So why construction management? The demand for construction managers is high right now. Salaries are highly competitive. You have so many different industry sectors that you can choose from. And there's, once you get into a company, there's great opportunity for advancement. And the last point on here is that it's a very dynamic profession, and you can make a difference. You're assigned to a project where you're a project engineer, a project manager. You work on that job for a year or 18 months and you move on to another job. But when you're finished, you have the satisfaction that you made a difference for that client and making that project a reality. So those are a very important, you know, there's a lot of satisfaction out of working in the management side of construction. I can attest to that personally. And right now, we have experienced this for a number of years, but we pretty much have 100% job placement for our graduates. So when you get out of here, you know, by the time you're graduating and walking across the stage and getting your diploma, you will likely have a job lined up that you're going to. I have 31, I think about 31 seniors graduating in May, and they pretty much all have jobs lined up right now. So. And how can you personally be successful? I tell students every time when they first come in here, stay organized and stay on task. Learn how to prioritize and balance your schoolwork with your extracurricular. You know, schoolwork has to be your top priority, and then, you know, working on other things with SCMA can fall in after that. I emphasize strong math skills. It's just a major part of so many classes that you can do a lot of good math skills and be able to do that as well. Find groups to participate in. There's like SCMA. There's a lot of things you can do on campus. I have students that, you know, are involved in intramural sports, and I have students on the football team and rugby team and golf team. There's a lot of things you can do. So when you come to school, you know, don't be afraid to get involved. Be proactive in fighting your co-ops. And as you're here at school, you will identify what industry segment you're interested in, being commercial or highway or residential. And then you're going to start to figure out within that market segment, what do you want to do? Are you interested in estimating? Are you interested in project management? And then, you know, you kind of focus your job hunting and your career in that direction. And finally, the last thing I just want to say that as faculty, we all have different personalities and different approaches to teaching in the classroom, which is what makes things fun and enjoyable. But we all have the same end goal. And our end goal is to prepare you to be a successful professional in the construction industry. And so we are always keeping that in mind, that from the time you start here to the time that you leave, we want to see you fit into a company and succeed. And that's our ultimate goal.